Cheers, everybody. I hope you all are excited like I am. What you guys are saying? I'm seem like a bit changed guy. Yes, I am. And the reason is I hope everybody can easily see in the comment section. Everybody is quite excited for introducing a community named Kong. But before that, we jump on to the fellow person from Kong and we'll introduce what we are going to do it today. Thing is, I always believed in one thing that a community is a familiar thread used to bring people together to advocate and support each other in the fight to overcome those threats. So, as a human beings, we need a sense of belonging, and that sense of belonging is what connect us to the many relationships that we develop. And as you know that I keep on doing the networking, and one day I landed up into this open source project called Kong. So Kong is an open source API gateway and microservices management layer, so based on nginx and lua nginx modules, specifically called open restry. So Kong's pluggable architecture makes it flexible and powerful. So I don't want you all to get into those technicalities because I have a very special friend of ours from the community representing Kong over here. His name is Viktor Gamov, and he's a principal developer advocate at Kong, a cloud connectivity company, which is like I have just explained, and we'll get to know more and more about Kong. So Victor has a comprehensive expertise in building distributed systems and cloud native architectures using open source technologies. He enjoys helping architects and developer designs and develop the low latency, scalable, and highly available systems. He's a professional conference speaker on distributed systems, streamlined data, JVM, and DevOps topics, and he's a regular event including JavaOne, Devoxx, OSCON, QCon, and many others. And right now, I guess you can easily find him on Cheers with Gaurav as well. So I'm quite excited. I want you all to make loud noise as much as you can while we bring Victor on the screen. Hey, cheers, Victor.
All right. Thank you so much for this loud introduction and awesome trailer. I really appreciate this. Hello, everyone.
Absolutely. I guess as equally, I am excited. People are too excited. And people, I'm so sorry if I missed any of your messages today, I guess. But yes, we all are excited like you guys are. So thank you so much, Victor, and the entire Kong team. On behalf of Team Cheers with Gaurav, we welcome you all here to India's Top. Namaste, and thank you so much for joining us.
Namaste. It's great to be here, and I think there's one of the silver lining of the being in this like a pandemic thing and being all virtual is that we get to travel to places fairly easy.
Yes.
So I can be in India, I can be tomorrow, I can be in Australia, and just simply like that.
Absolutely. And I guess you resonated with the word, which I say always that it's one world and one community. And that's what we all are doing, right? So,
Yep.
Victor, my first question, why don't you tell all our viewers, though definitely I believe all of us are excited to hear more and more about Kong. So why don't you tell a bit about Kong and your journey with Kong as well?
Of course, yeah. I think it's a good conversation starter. Kong, that we call the cloud connectivity company, and my journey with Kong started not so a long time ago. As a matter of fact, I was as based on my bio that you just introduced, I was doing a lot of work around distributed systems and around open source systems. I've been building and helping people to build solutions around those. And my professional work was always around the commercial open source, like when there's some of the open source the project and the company trying to support this and also develop a very healthy business around this. And some of the things that I did in the past was around distributed systems. Distributed systems require connectivity. Distributed systems require a network to run these bits and bytes between different nodes of the system. So for me, it was kind of like a natural transition to something that I think it's very becoming very important in 2020 specifically. The many companies doing transformation their infrastructure into like more digital, and if you're not your business doesn't have anything to do with online, you probably will be to be successful. And but essentially what we do here, we do multiple things. One of the things that you touched a little bit is it's a API gateway system that allows you to manage uniformly multiple applications that you might have in the system, and like provide different the things that you either don't have a time or desire to develop yourself. And we can drill down about this when we will be talking about some of the bits and bytes. And the whole business was built around this idea of providing the platform that allows developers to successfully deploy their applications into production and provide this like a connectivity thing and control and manage how they deploy and how this application get accessed.
And having said that, I guess one thing which I can easily sense from that conversation is, guess, community is our DNA, right? And so does Kong always mention in their objectives, or whenever I have heard people speaking at Kong specifically, everybody mentioned that community is the DNA for Kong. So so today I want all the viewers to just know about, we are touching more like close to 200 live viewers at this point of time, and I guess this recording is going to stay forever. I want you all to just know from Victor a bit more about that, why community. And I guess you would agree, Victor, that when it comes to open source, people have this freedom to opt the different perspective of the community, why they started this project. And more likely, when it comes to the competition, we never believed in open source world that it's all about competition. It's all about collaboration, right? So how anyone who wants to kick off their career, or if they want to start their contribution to Kong, what is the tech stack, or what is the key thing that you would like to suggest to all the people who wants to contribute to Kong or
Yeah.
getting started with Kong? Yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's do a little bit like a step back and try to observe the why you want to do this and why the companies doing open source at all. What's the point of this? Before that, there were successful commercial companies. They developed their applications. They developed their systems. They were selling those systems successfully. And believe me or not, even for commercial companies, there are very successful and thriving communities. Like if you would go and search in internet, probably Oracle database is one of the largest database communities, and the Oracle database was always a proprietary product. So I would not kind of like distinguish one like open source versus commercial. However, when we're talking about DNA, it's about where it's all started, and many successful projects that I was working with. It was Hazelcast, it was Apache Kafka, it was Kong. They started not with idea, okay, so let's create a new, the category of the software. Let's create something that will make us like a billionaires and things like that. Everything starts with the need. Usually engineers are smart enough to implement this automation to resolve this need to do something. It started with Kafka when there was a requirement to provide the faster access to some data. And Kong provide the way how applications can be managed more efficiently, and how they would be you can build these scalable applications and how you can manage those, and so far so on. So never, like when there's something started, it's always kind of a need for something, and the open source help to assure, I guess, so that it's neat, it's not, or like a do kind of like idea validation when multiple people start joining and look into this project, or at least use this project. It's a validation that it's not only need from one particular person or like person who designed this system and develop. So everything starts with this kind of like a collaboration and the people learning about how they would solve the problem that they have at work, or they have a problem to solve based on certain tools. And after that, when usually how the open source project is growing, there's a over the time there's a lot of contributions, or the people collaborating, working on something, and at certain point, usually open source starts as some sort of hobby, or some of the side project. And only after a certain time, the creators or maintainers or people who leading this project, they thinking, oh, so we have so many ideas, we can employ these ideas by we can implement these ideas by bringing more people to community. However, some of the ideas will not be that popular, or maybe we'll find the person who will implement this immediately, but there's the demand to implement these ideas. And after that, this is how the company decide to go with the commercial thing, this project.
Right.
Like very simple very simple step to start monetization of the project. Some of the project can be sponsored by some of the bigger companies, but if it's like a super successful and super popular, but usually they start like building companies, building business around this. Right. So, and usually before you start a company that will support this open source, and between the moment when you start the project and to the moment where you start the company, there's something is happening. How you can bring the people, how you can bring the interest here. And I think there should be there are some actual rules that you can follow in order to create this community. First of all, you can define a some sort of like the rules, how you will communicate, how you will engage the community, and how the people will interact with each other. So when the people want to start to at least use, contributors come from the community who use the system. So you need to explain people and provide a clear example, documentation, or like at least like a getting starting guide, how you can use and what kind of problem you solve with this. Once the people start doing this and they realizing that some of the use cases that they do maybe will not 100% will be resolved using this tool. So that's why they come back and either submit the feature request where they have this idea that, oh yeah, so what about like we're adding this piece of functionality here. And so this is something that needs to be clearly articulated for others and for wannabe contributors, like how you can do certain things, like how you can contribute, how you can report the bugs, how you would communicate this. And this is something that needs to be easy accessed. And today, I would say the GitHub pioneered and pushed this idea of open source for everyone, the community for everyone, and help to build a platform for people to do this much easier. Like a couple of years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, it was super maybe difficult to start. There was some of the foundations, right? You probably heard about the Apache Software Foundation. There's Eclipse Foundation. Right now we have a CNCF, some other like Open Source Commons, some others. Like we do have a Reactive Foundation right now, so plenty. But before that, it was not so many. And sometimes people, there's a mystery around these foundations. Believe me or not, that I met the people who think that the Apache Software Foundation is kind of like a company who makes the software. It's not like they think that it's kind of sort of like a corporation that will be, releasing things, but it's actually a community that has certain. I think it's in terms of maturity, and in terms of maturity, and in terms of like a governance, Apache is quite established, and the people know a lot about this. In the recent years, things also changed with Apache. I remember, like maybe 5, 6, maybe even 10 years ago, the Apache was like, oh, Apache probably is the place where the some of the projects will go to die for some reasons. The people had this perception, like if the company was developing something enough that they decide to donate this, they think, oh, they want to just throw this away. But it's not true, because the Apache is one of those the foundations that been around for a while, and they have a very established process how to define the project maturity. And some of the things that Apache was doing for years was mimicked in the other communities also, like CNCF also following the very similar steps. So am I talking too much? Just I just want to let you let you know to ask the question. Yeah.
No,
So
not at all. Means yes.
and
So DNA
I
is all
think
about that, right?
I think they, like, from perspective open source, like there's a couple ways how the project can appear in a while. So someone started this from scratch, and someone is developing the project, and it's naturally gaining popularity because it's solving some of the important problem. I think one of the examples of those projects I would call test containers. Is it is a framework that allows to people. It's a framework that allows the people to use real software in their integration tests. And idea was simple, since many bits of software right now distributed through the containers. Different vendors provide, these open source vendors provide containers for their applications. What if we will take this and bootstrap this during our integration test phase? And it started with the idea that the Richard North developed this kind of like a initial framework, because he needed this to test some of their applications. And after that, over the time, it gained popularity through the community, and they grew into a very thriving community because people need this. People were stuck on doing this integration testing or like some sort of like unit testing using mocks, and the mocks are not the same as your actual software, and they do a manual integration test, and the containers help them to solve this. Another example how the project came about is from organization. Some company develop a piece of software, and after that donated this because they didn't have a time or bandwidth to develop this internally, or maybe they see opportunity. So that's why they go and what they call donate the code, meaning that they develop license that allows people to contribute, and develop license that would be permissive enough for people to use it, but not be kind of like a viral, so the people cannot build a business on top of it. Which is like license is also very important, like what kind of license you will choose in order to have this balance. People still can use this for free, but also you can build a successful business on top of it. And I think the third one is also like when you start building something so I think this is how like the products like Hazelcat started. The team was starting building this when they were doing some consultancy job, or like JFrog started as this. They were doing some of the consultancy job and some of the things that people were asking about the artifact management, and the people start building this because the people start asking. So everything starts with someone's need, and it can be either need of individual who started something with the great idea. You can call it like a visionary. Or it starts with the need of organization, and after that, a realization that the problem that they try to solve is actually applicable to many people. So that's the Conga is started with the idea to the marketplace for different APIs for different systems, how they would work, and how the developers would get the unified access. And all, over the time, it crystallized in something that we call microservices these days, right? So, and how we provide this like a entry point to those microservices systems, and how you can use this.
Definitely. And I guess that's absolutely something I always wishes to make it happen. You said it point absolutely right. It's all takes an idea to live. So I just want to take a moment over here, though I am too excited that we have crossed our personal record of Cheers with Gaurav having like live viewers. Last time we just touched 300, and this time we have crossed 313. And as
Oh
people
wow,
said,
that's exciting.
Kong is the powerful community, as the name suggests. And I personally love Upender what he said. It's just like the King Kong, where we have this mascot, and I wishes I could have done it like that.
I do
But
have.
yes, so that's all power of like Victor, and the kudos to team like Kong for helping us. Definitely. Oh, the kettlebell is
That's
here.
that's
Oh
my
man.
mascot of the King Kong
Oh
community.
man. I
32
wish I
kilograms.
it could have here with me. Okay, so thank you so much, Victor, for having that. So, as I said, so Cheers with Gaurav is all about spreading smiles, empowering others. So, what I want to do over here, so people, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. But we will choose towards the end a couple of lucky winners who post something good about Kong, or any feedback that you want to give, and couple of interesting questions. If that got the attention of Victor and mine, I hope you will get a stand chance to win some goodies from Kong. And I guess you can see our mascot is also wearing, our Cheers with Gaurav mascot is also wearing the Kong today. So am I, so Victor, and everybody over here is all about that. So we have a couple of our friends from Team Cheers with Gaurav who want to ask something live with you, Victor. It's all about open source, Kong, what they do, and how it's all. So it's time to bring the first. So Ananya, how are you doing? I hope you are equally excited like I am. Over to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hello,
Yes.
Victor.
Oh,
How are you
Hey, how's it
doing?
going? Doing all right. Doing
Uh,
all right.
it's all right. Oh, nice, nice. So my first question is for you is, what all things we can do with the Kong API gateway, and what advantages can it give to the contributors? Like, how can it help if open source enthusiasts wanna learn some like cool stuff?
So I think I would like to also clarify some of the things people are thinking about the contribution is it needs to be something like a significant or monumental, and it needs to be the code. It's not the case in many cases. When you start contributing to the project, it's not necessarily mean that you need to sit down and write code. Like if you write a blog post, or you're writing some tutorial on your website, or writing some of the tutorial on YouTube video, it's also contribution. You're helping others to understand, or sharing the things that you learned during the your process of learning things. And this is also like valuable contribution for the world, like teaching others and explaining others with the intricacies of the project. And but if we were talking about like a specific thing with the contributing code, there's also multiple ways. So itself, when we mention this on the website, like we have a DNA or an open source, it is not just words, because if you can go in our GitHub, it's github.com/Kong/Kong. It's actually the main repo where all the things happen with the API gateway. The platform itself is it's free and open source. It's Apache v2 license. It's not some dual license. It's Apache v2 license. This license allows to build a commercial software. It's quite permissive in terms of like what you can do with this. And with this, you will be able to do something with this. And we do have a very well articulated contribution policy. If you go into this repository, there's always like a contribution markdown. Another thing with Kong, and it is a plugin architecture. So Kong itself It's a kind of like a runtime and the core thing. But how the people extend Kong, it's all about the plugins. They build plugins that will, doing something with your data. One of the popular plugins, it's also open source plugin called the rate limiting, that allows you to put something in between. Your API gateway sits between your users and your application, and if you want to prevent from some of the malicious access or denial of service type of attacks, you can put a rate limiter. So in this case, the requests will be limited by, I don't know, like the time. You can say like you can submit only 1,000 requests per minute and not more. So in this case, you will prevent your system to be overwhelmed. And you can develop multiple plugins that will support this architecture. Apart from the main Kong API gateway project, we do have another very neat tool that called Insomnia that many developers use to test their RESTful services, that test their gRPC services. And Insomnia is also open source project, and Insomnia has a lot of contribution from open source, and the people can build also plugins for Insomnia. And you can, if you can go there in a GitHub right now, you can see number of stars. I think this is how we measure success of the project these days: number of stars or number of likes, and based on those, it is quite successful. In terms of like, if you actually want to contribute some code, you might require some skills. For example, Kong is, as Gaurav mentioned, is a fork of Nginx with the plugin architecture of OpenResty that allows to develop some of the modules using a language called Lua. So obviously, if you want to contribute to this one, you need to have a knowledge of Lua programming language. There are APIs, and we call it plugin development kit that requires Go knowledge. We do have a plugin development kit for Go and for JavaScript. Insomnia is written in JavaScript, and the core of Insomnia actually written in TypeScript. And we recently fully migrated to TypeScript code base. So if you want to contribute to Insomnia, you need to understand TypeScript. So you see, there's a different varieties of the project available, and based on your knowledge and your experience of other programming languages, you will be able to see and contribute. But again, I started this conversation with, if you want to contribute, it is not necessarily you need to go and write the code straight away. You can write documentation, you can write tutorial, you can write the blog post, you can write some of the reference architecture that explains how these certain things can be used in the real life. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. So my next question is for you is, what relevant skills should a student learn to start contributing in Kong open source project as a beginner? How can students use their tech stack or a language what we have to learn, or how can we start to contribute to Kong open source projects?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a couple things that, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, carry on.
So there's a couple things that you need to know or have before you start. So you probably want to learn a little bit about the contribution process. Like I said, open source projects usually have a well-defined contribution flow. So usually you need to look up for something like contributing README file, or like all projects will explain how you can do this. And in order to do this, you need to spend the time researching. And I think this is the most important. Like once you understand the rules of engagement in particular community, it would be much easier for you to start. Next thing is that usually, for example, in Kong, like we always have the the documentation that explains how you can build something, from source. Try to follow some of those documentation to understand what is going on there. Once you get a grasp and good understanding like what different pieces of the system are doing, you can like just follow, simply follow, even though you don't know what is going on there. Once you follow those instructions, you will be able to run something on your computer. And the next thing is to explore the code, try to see what's around. For the Quonk itself, for the recommended language, we use Lua, and there's some of the C modules also available. So this is the thing that you need to know. Some of the components around the Conga, for example, we do have integration in Kubernetes that allows to run the Conga as a Kubernetes native application, and it's called Conga Ingress Controller. And in order to contribute there, or like fixing bugs there and doing something there, you need to know Go programming language. Some of the things that people implement in Kubernetes are written in Go. So if you know Go, you can write this one. If you are in a different language, for example, I'm a Java developer, like by for a very long time, and there's also we do have this a RESTful client that has a Java library for it. So this is something where you can look and contribute. So again, there's a plenty of things available in github.com/Cong, and you can find the cool thing with the GitHub. Every time when you go and look in some project, GitHub gives you stats and explains that, hey, this project is written 100% in Go. This project is written in the 100%, 75% in JavaScript or TypeScript or whatnot. So you would know what kind of skills you need to have straight away. But my recommendation before you jump right in and doing something, just try to spend a little bit time a learning community. For example, you can follow some of the issues that the people open there. The Stack Overflow is actually a very good place to tracking some of the questions. Contribution doesn't have to start with code, like I always mention. You can start by answering questions, learning project itself, and answering questions, to people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sounds like a plan, Ananya. Thank you so much for bringing that perspective, and I'll catch you in a minute. Huh?
Thank
Okay, thank you. So, Rishabh, what you have for Victor and for all the other viewers as well? Yeah.
Hey,
So
What do you
hi
have?
Victor. So hi Victor. I'm just listening you from the backstage, and I got to learn many new things, Victor.
of course, that's why we're
So
here.
right. So as I'm a college student, so my question revolve around that part. So many of my seniors in the college, they talk about open source contribution, open source, do that, do this. So I just wanted to ask you, like, how does the contribution to open source project can help the students in their career path?
It's a very good question. I really jealous these days students. During my time, 15, 20 years ago, it was not like we have it right now. And like, if you start doing something interesting, exciting, you need to dig through the many layers of mud, and the materials in internet was different that time, and the materials in the internet were not the quality of those materials were not like we have it right now. It's a great time for students to start learning about industry and understanding what is going on, like in general. The places like a GitHub, there's always different stats that explain what's there's a popular open source project, meaning that many people use this. Many people use this not only as a hobby, but like using this to make some money. So that's gives you some of the data where we can focus on. It's one thing. It's most important because this data will give you idea how to direct your personal development. The another thing is that it's clearly there are many projects that where you can learn how you can use tools like people use this in the real world again when the people get paid for doing some stuff with the code. A lot of things that you can learn how to people using different frameworks and how different frameworks help to solve certain problems and things like that. So plus third thing, I guess the students will learn how to do collaboration. How to, for example, if you are assigned to work on a project, how you would effectively collaborate with your your mates, with your classmates, if you are assigned to do something collaborative project and things like that. So that's like huge opportunity. And again, learning from the mission critical applications, how you can build the systems and things like that, and how to people collaborate. And it may be a steep learning path because the system's getting better and more complicated and more complex. But as it life, you when you're learning more, there's a metaphor with circles, like you drawing the this circle on the sand, and like your knowledge, what you know about the outside world, is inside the circle, and outside world is what you don't know. As you feeling more with your inner circle, with your knowledge, you growing. So in this case, your outside circle getting even bigger, so you're learning even more. So that's how you can fulfill. I think it's a great opportunity for today's college students to learn about industry, definitely.
Right, right. Yeah, you have, you talked about the collaboration and all, and I also feel like collaborating with different people having different mindset help us to explore more. So
Right.
that's my part.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. I
Thank you.
hope you can see the joy on my face, and that clearly means I was just posting, Victor, that keep commenting and you might stand a chance to win the swag. And trust me, as I said, Kong Note is one of the comment made by Upender, and Upender is our first swag winner. So Upender, reach out to me on LinkedIn or on Twitter, and you have some couple of good swags lying over there, deliver at your doorstep. So keep commenting, guys. You have some more lucky winners as Kong team is continuously monitoring your chat, guys. And I guess we have another winner coming up. So Murnak Pawar, you are the swag. Oh my God! I guess I'm feeling like Oprah Winfrey giving the swags. You won one. You won two. So I'm enjoying this conversation, guys. Keep commenting. You have some great swags coming up. Like we are wearing it up. You guys can also do it and join. So let me call up our next Vaishnavi. What you have for us, Vaishnavi? Over to you.
Okay. Hello, Victor.
Hello.
So,
Hi.
many of my juniors mostly ask about open source contribution. So, I just wanted to know, they always say that, yes, we'll push our code on a GitHub and then it's open source contribution. So, I just wanted to ask, how can we contribute in this community? What are the different ways through which a student can communicate or can contribute? So, this was.
Yeah. When you push your code to GitHub, it does make the this kind of like a open source project immediately. What I usually tell people, like, if you want someone is use your stuff, you need to explain what is this, if you want to start something yourself. So you need to not only write good code but also write good words. You need to be able to explain what the code it does. We had this like a small conversation backstage before about language, and it's happened to be English is a language that we're speaking on right now, and it's happened to be the language that many people use to document the project and things like that. So there's some exceptions, of course. There's some projects that are quite popular, but they would use some of the native language. So learning how to write code and learning how to write text and prose, it's also like a very important thing. With the contributions, so once you learn how to write prose, you can contribute to documentation, and it's also very valuable contribution. Sometimes even more valuable than the code. If you understand how the system works, but you don't know means to write sort of bug fixes yourself, at least you can write the text. So this is another way how you can contribute to any project, not necessarily with Kong. With no exception of Kong, we do have a documentation is also open source. You can go there and if you find something is not, you're reading documentation on the website, something is not added up, you can always go to GitHub and fix this, just submitting it. And teaching others through the tools like we have right now, like in YouTube and live streams, doing kind of like this educational content. It's also a mean of contribution. Contribution. So that's if you want to have a more a key takeaway from this conversation that we have today. Contribution not always equals code. Yes, contribution in the form of code is nice. However, there's other ways how you can do this, including documentation, including the videos, including tutorials, including teaching others, including doing meetups, and bringing the communities and help people to answer their questions. It's also a contribution. When you do an answer question about Kong, about Kafka or something else somewhere like online, like a Stack Overflow or like a Kong Nation forum, you are contributing to the success of the community. I
Yeah,
think you
right.
are mute.
Mainly the juniors think that we'll just contribute to the code and that's only the open source contribution. So yes, one should know that every little contribution is a contribution. Maybe it's
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
words or for a code.
yeah.
So,
And it's an iterative process. You need to learn, and during the process of learning, you understanding like what is the missing parts of the system, where you can find this, and you spend the time on research and you're sharing this with others. I think that's the whole idea.
yes. Okay, so my next question was like I went to the Kong community. So it's about API gateways. So what do you think how it is better than the other API gateways present in all around? Means like Kong, any good features which it has which enhances it. So I would like you to share that so that
Yeah,
the person. Yeah.
yeah, of course. So I'm not a huge fan about talking about okay, so let's take the two systems and let's compare this, like find the check marks and things like that. It's same thing as like comparing, I don't know, like a cars by, I don't know, doing check marks. There's like a Toyota and there's a Porsche. Both cars have four wheels. There's a steering wheel. Depend on the make of the car. There's number of seats in there. There's a different type of gas, but the important thing, they give you, keep you moving, and it's all about what kind of problem you're trying to solve. I usually trying to explain people like, yes, there's some features you can do check marks, but you need to understand why you're doing this, like why you need API gateway, what are you trying to achieve with your system. So from that, it's always business requirement. When you're learning something, you're learning product, like you're a student or you are just a junior developer, start learning about things. You also want to it's know the features. However, you need to start thinking about like what are you trying to do, what you're trying to solve, what kind of problem you're trying to solve with certain tools. And once you start realizing this, earlier in your life, asking yourself questions like what I'm trying to do, not the jumping into the problem and giving the doing the certain things, but like taking time to research and understanding where you stand, it's more important than comparing certain features. There are plenty different kind of like systems that implement this concept of API gateway. Essentially, you can call it, it's nothing new. You can say that's just a proxy server. You can use the Apache HTTP server, you can use Nginx. Will it make it a platform? What makes it this platform? Why they call it this, not the proxy server, but they call it API gateway? What goes in there? And after that, you start learning about the whole ecosystem, about like API management and what kind of requirements people have in order to manage their systems and make them like production ready. What kind of requirements for running the system in production. And from the learning and understanding those requirements and learning the field, you start understanding what's important for companies to run this. And it sometimes it's difficult to do being just like a student if you don't have exposure to real world systems. So that's why maybe like starting understanding how the people using certain projects on the early stage is more important than you start sending patches for wrong punctuation in documentation, right? So I think it's like a catch-22 problem, like how you can start learning about the systems if you don't have experience, and you only can get experience by doing something for the systems. Sometimes learning from others and learning how the other people using this, it's the valuable thing how you can do. So I didn't answer your question directly, just simply because I'm not a fan of just comparing things for the sake of comparing things. I learned this from my years being like a sales engineer, when the people want, oh yeah, can we have this comparison chart, and like based on the check marks that we have with this project, we'll go with this project. If we have more check marks with this project, we'll go with this project. This is not how you should approach this problem. Of course, the features are important. However, I would suggest, think about use case, think about what the problem you're trying to solve.
Yes.
Yeah, the person should know that what is exactly its requirements.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you better engineer. It makes you better problem solver rather than just being the person who will just go and do what he was told. Yes, it's also fine. It's also fine to do. However, if you want to grow in the industry and become more senior person over the years, you need to start asking these questions early and getting these answers also early.
Absolutely right. So thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for bringing that
Thank you.
perspective. And I guess that was running in my head, that people should not compare the things. They should understand their use case and use the relevant technologies, right? So thank you so much, Vaishnavi. Um, while we were interacting to students, we have a couple of winners, and thank you so much, winners, for reaching out to me on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Do post about the session, ask your friends also to join, because the thing I said, I was quite excited for you all. We have two more winners coming, but you keep on commenting, and if Kong team notices you, you might stand a chance to win some cool swags. So while we were interacting, Victor, to the students, I also thought bringing a bit of expertise. So one of my friend works at Red Hat along with me, and I want him to also have this perspective of Kong. So Rudra, what you have for us, buddy? What do you?
Hi, Victor.
Hey, how's it going, Roder?
Yeah, fine. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Enjoying
I love you.
time on this live stream.
Sure, I love your background.
Thank you.
So I was going through the Kong, everything and all. So just a small doubt from my side, like if as any particular viewer will come and he will ask, okay, there is something like Kong and there is something like Conga. So what you will say, what is the difference between Kong and Conga? And I read about Conga, but and the another perspective is like you are more coming towards the dashboard part. You are more better known for the better part of the dashboard. So would in future, if you want to move your full dashboard to a mobile application where everything can be handled through your mobile, so that's it.
So I think this is a great example of very thriving community, and where people are building something that they find useful. So the Conga is so the Conga itself. Conga Gateway is open source plugin. It's open source system, and people use this like without any problems. They just can get the binaries, they can get the source, they build themselves, and they start using this. There's no like a price for that. It's a Apache V2 license system, and you can do it for free. So there's a Conga Enterprise that comes with certain like sets of like additional plugins. Plus, it comes with this like a nice dashboard that allows to the visually see what is going on there, like UI, different stats, and things like that. And I think this is one of the routes that many commercial open source companies are following, is that you can develop the platform and it's self-sufficient by itself. But like if you want to have something to support this running at scale and running this in a big organization, you need to provide some monitoring tools, some of the tools that allows to system administrators to use. So that's where the Conga Manager come about. So the Conga it's a community project when the people decide to build community dashboard for monitoring and see what is going on there. So essentially, it's a the open source counterpart. So if you are not a Conga customer and you don't want to use enterprise version, you can free to use this open source tool, but it comes with different level of support. So if you want new features added here, you either go and implement this yourself with the framework that they develop, or you maybe the sponsored development of certain features. There's usually there's ways how you can provide some tips to developers who can implement this. So I think, in my opinion, it's a great example of a success of certain like open source project when there is a commercial part of this, when the people develop something that they asking money for, or there's something that people willing to invest time if you're not willing to invest their money. So that's how the project like Conga came about. And there's some other plugins that like, for example, there's rate limiting enterprise plugin that has more features, and that's part of the commercial license. However, it was like sport betting company from India. I forget the exact name, but they recently released their plugin for rate limiting. They implemented this like rate limiting and circuit breaker pattern for Conga that kind of sits in between, because there's open source plugin for rate limiting and there's a commercial plugin for, and they implemented another advanced rate limiting plugin. So that's my answer to this. I think it's absolutely awesome, and I think it's great that we do have such a. I don't see this as a, oh, they are competitors. We need to shut them down. No, I think it's great. I think it's a great example of healthy open source community around this system.
Cool.
And
Thanks.
you had some question around mobile. Could
Yes.
you repeat?
So it was like, if you wanted to, it was from the Conga part, like if you wanted to move the whole dashboard to your single mobile handset, like if you don't want to, every time you don't want to use your laptop to judge or monitor each and everything. So would it be in future like everything should become to your pocket, something like
Yeah,
that?
of course. That's where the world is going to. And the cool thing about the projects like Conga, they still employing some of the APIs that Conga itself provides.
Yes.
And we all at Conga, we're all about APIs and the way how the application communicate through through communication of these APIs. So I think it's quite possible. API is already there. You just need to have a dashboard that will be running natively on your
System.
another thing that the people can develop and can explore. the what to do. They want to go and see how the Conga does it on regular front end, and they can build, I don't know, React Native application or
Yep.
like iOS native application.
So, and last thing, like if some of the viewers, if you want to say to the viewers, like, okay, I wanted to be the part of this Kong community and to be the full-time part, like it's not like the community perspective, it's like not I'm doing the side part, but wanted to be the full-time contributor, and I wanted to be join this Kong community, and I wanted to be get paid off. So is there any opportunity kind of that?
Yes, of course. Like first of all, can I use this opportunity to say that we're hiring? If you go to
Yes, yeah.
the congahu.com website, there is a career session, and you can see like we're hiring all across the board in engineering as well. So that's the neat part of successful commercial open source company, right? It's much easier for companies like Kong to hire people from community, because there are people who already have skills, and they know about the project, and they already invested their time to do so. I see many examples where successful contributors to project were employed, and they'll continue to do their thing, but like official as an engineer inside the company. So there's a clear path how we can how it's possible. And like I said, the Quant is hiring right now. So if you are looking for full-time gig working on projects like Con Gateway, Ingress Controller, Kuma, in Insomnia, so go check this out, check requirement, like give us a note. That's everything is possible.
Yeah, thanks, Victor. It would be helpful for the 400, 500 viewer plus.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Rudra, for
Thank
being
you so much, Gaurav.
that part. I believe exactly what you said. Community, it's all about empowering each other and everybody all out there. I also want to take that moment that me and Rudra, though we both work for Red Hat, we are here to support out of our passion. We are not here to just be, or this particular channel, Cheers with Gaurav, is not being endorsed by Red Hat or being an official channel of Red Hat for sure.
But it
So
should. Yeah, it should.
yes, it should. I hope, cross fingers someday. But what I want to say over here that today morning itself, I was discussing with few of my Red Hatter team, and we were wondering that look what great relationship we had with the Kong. So Kong is a certified operator at OpenShift, and it is also listed at Red Hat Marketplace. And this is the power of exactly what Rudra bring down the to the table. That the power of community, right? So thank you so much, Rudra, and thank you so much, Victor, for
Thanks so
that
much.
part. I'll see you in a minute, Rudra. And so we have our last team member joining up, Victor, and I'm quite excited about this guy because 6 months back when I met this person, I was literally in shock when I met this guy. So thing was, Victor, he's just 13 years old and he leads a lot of communities. And trust me, when I met him, I don't like I didn't like realize that he is the one just I'm interacting to at 13 years old. He's so full with open source. And when I posted this links of your that hey, we are doing something. If somebody wants to join in, he was the first one to reach out to me. But yes, as I said, the small packet and the big dhamaka we have. So Pulkit, how are you doing, man? Over to you.
Yeah, great going. How about you?
Hey, how's it
All
going?
good.
Yeah, great going. So it's really nice to have you all here, Victor. And it like the content is really going awesome. That's the reason even like Cheers with Gaurav has created a new history, you can say. So yeah, let's directly get into my question. So first of all, my question is like how you got an idea of like creating a community in Kong. Basically, there are so much of like things going on in Kong basically, but you got an idea to like having a Kong community and all, right? So what was the main goal, and how you got to and got an idea to create a community?
Let me ask you, because I'm not quite understand the question, but so let me try to rephrase it. So, are you talking about the community in general, or like some specific community around certain, like a project and certain like
Whole
feature or
community,
whatnot?
like a whole basic Kong community.
Yeah, so everything started with the, like I mentioned in the very beginning here, with certain need, and it's not possible that only one person will have this need or like solving certain problems, and that's why it's always great to have some place where we can discuss, and like that's how the community came about. It's like a group of like-minded people who have the same aspirations, maybe some of the similar kind of problems to solve, and that's why they're trying to tackle this together. And we as a company, yes, we do have users, we do have paid customers and things like that. However, in order to solve some of the real world problems, we want to help people who maybe don't have a means to become a customer. However, they have something to implement, and that's where the community came with. So want to support this, want to support community of users. I believe that the most successful customers coming from users, and there's a clear path how you can how you can win the your best customers. So it's about building trust. When you help others in the community, you build in the trust that you're not letting down. There's about element um, element of support and the element of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of keeping each other accountable. It's like when you go in. There's a saying that if you're going to go fast, you can go alone. If you want to go far, you go with
Mhm.
friend.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. So it's if you starting your like a gym journey, it's much easier to go with your gym buddy, because you will keep each other accountable. Like, you want to skip today leg day, and he said no, we're not skipping leg day today. And
Yeah.
that's how you becoming better, because over the time you develop the better habits for your health. Same thing with the open source, and same thing with
Mhm.
the any type of like software community that we have, online communities that we have. It's a build trust, create accountability, and help each other to succeed with certain tools.
Mhm. Yeah, that's epic. Each and everyone who wants to create a community, it's all about how they want to help folks, right?
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, you all are,
think
yeah.
about this, it's a kind of like some people, there's a it's a, like a classical idea of like a pyramid of needs. Once you like
Mhm.
resolve the basic needs of like a comfort, there's needs to be useful for other people. You want to spread some of the knowledge that to other people, so you can help them to grow better.
Yeah.
So I think that's the goal.
Yeah,
We were as a
collaboration helps
company.
everywhere.
Yeah, so as a company, we were very successful with customers. So we want to help others to be successful as well. And like I said, the best customers come
Mhm.
from the best users. Once you have this trust between you and your users, it's no brainer if for example, you starting new
Yeah, yeah,
job
yeah.
and you were
Mhm.
working in this community of Kong gateway or Kong operator, you will naturally wanted to use the tool that to solve the problems. So that's the idea of that's the idea. And Polkit, I think we lost you.
Uh,
All right.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
don't know.
I'm back.
Oh,
Just
yeah. Okay.
just an error in between. So yeah, I can see such a lot of great stuffs going on, right? So we have got so much ton of contents here right now. So one of my last question, you can say, like, does Kong have any type of fellowship or mentorship program that can help student in enhancing their knowledge and all?
That's a good question, and we don't have this officially, the partnership with some like universities, but I think over the time of next year, we should be starting kind of like a internship program, because
Mhm.
we do believe that the growing the community
Yeah.
from supporting the talent in early stage. That would be great, great idea
Yeah,
to have. So
absolutely.
yeah, so we don't have it like it's not like a structured program that some other companies like Microsoft and Red Hat might have with the working on the campuses. I was during my time when I was in university. Unfortunately, I was already teaching that time, and I already graduated and was working on my postdoc thing. But I was exposed to the Microsoft programs for universities. I was exposed to IBM program for different initiatives what they did for universities. I was participating in Sun Microsystems. Before it was Oracle, there was a Sun, and their program with universities and how they provide the free software. They provided free, like you can get the, I don't know, like a Visual Studio, like with MSDN subscription for free, just for your development and learning needs. And it was quite neat. It was great. You don't need to go and pirate this software. You can get this from them for free. Same thing with the IBM and things like that. I think
Yeah.
it's many companies, like big companies, big software companies, realize that like fairly quickly, simply because many of these companies came from university background, like a Sun Microsystem as a Stanford University network. So it started in the university. It started in Stanford. When the Bill Gates started Microsoft, he dropped out from school, and just started working on something he thought that would be very very important, and supporting the is, I think it's a crucial part. So we're getting there.
Yeah, yeah. That's really awesome. And yeah, that's all. And it was really awesome to have a convo with you. So yeah,
Yeah,
looking forward
absolutely, a
to
pleasure all
meet you
mine.
all soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being with this.
I guess uh, you made a right statement, Pulkit. One thing is that yes, everybody knows about the student program and other parts. Definitely, I hope everyone who has joined the stream, they would have find this session quite insightful. And I guess we have overshoot a bit of time, but I want the entire team to join me live. Hey, Rishabh, Ananya, Rudra, you all are on the screen right now. Please turn on your cam. I guess we made this part right. When we are quite excited in Cheers with Gaurav tradition, what we generally do when we are excited in India, we generally like we have given a lot of giveaways. And yes, before that, like we do all those steps. I want to congratulate you all for joining me live. Trust me, Upender, Deepak, Mrunanak, Sunena, Arushi, all the swag winners from the Kong team, you made it great. And all the winners, please don't be like, if you haven't won, some other stream will come on live and you will won. And if you want the Kong to do it again, make some loud noise on their Twitter handle that hey, we want another collab between Cheers with Gaurav and Kong, and let's bring them back again on Cheers with Gaurav, and we'll be doing some more giveaways to all of you. So
And
with that,
subscribe
yes,
to our YouTube channel as well.
definitely,
Subscribe to
definitely.
YouTube channel of Gurav. Subscribe to Kong YouTube channel. I post the videos on the regular basis there. So if
Yes,
you want to learn some of the things around Kong, that's would be I guess this is
right.
how we learning things these days, right? So through blog posts and in YouTube videos.
Right. And I just want to say from my side, I want all the like joinees. So Vaishnavi has to like drop off because of some network issues. But yes, you all also are the winners because you have taken that courage to come up live, put up your like question in front of the Kong team, and that's where we appreciate your help and like support to the entire team. Cheers with Gaurav and to the Kong. Do spread this message out that yes, we love this thing. I don't want you all to just say that yeah, we winner. Share your experience, and that's a perfect gift for me and to the entire Kong that hey, we were here and we learned this thing, right? And to all the viewers, please be go and check out the Kong's YouTube channel. I'll paste down the link in the video description. There are some amazing how-to video. I personally have followed them, and then I take the courage to reach out to Victor and our Kong team. So thank you so much, everyone. And Yes, now in the Cheers with Gaurav tradition. So, Victor, when we are jumping out of our joy, we do this balle balle step. So, we want you to take this hands up like this and say balle balle for us, guys.
Bale bale.
Hey, everyone, please take up your
Bye-bye.
hands up
What
and
does it
say
mean?
balle balle.
What does it mean? Is it like something I'm
So, it
excited?
just
Bale bale.
yes,
Yes.
balle balle. Exactly, you said when you are excited. So, in Bhangra, we generally do this balle balle steps to make it like a groove,
Bale bale.
like we do.
Yeah, I'm
Balle
excited.
balle.
So,
Exactly.
balle balle. Yeah. So that's the part. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us live. I hope you had a great time. You had some great learnings. So thank you so much, Pulkit, Rishabh, Ananya, and Rudra for joining us over here. Okay, so Victor, we want to take a moment to thank you. I can't thank you enough to be here with us. We have overshoot definitely some time that we borrowed from you, but I hope you enjoyed the stream. I have pasted your link in the video description. People do reach out and connect to Victor. He keep on posting some amazing blogs, amazing YouTube videos, and the learning that I had personally reading his blogs is something really, really easy to grab the things. So thank you so much, Victor, from the entire team.
Thank you
Cheers with
for
Gaurav for that.
organizing this, and thank you for having me. It's great that you are driving this community and helping other kids and students learn about technology, and that's great. There's a huge opportunity these days, and like I said earlier, I a little bit jealous that I didn't have the stuff like we have today during my time when I was learning
Right.
these things.
So thank you so much. I hope it can make my day. If you can ask our all viewers to subscribe to Cheers with Gaurav, please.
Yeah, subscribe to Cheers to Gaurav. That would be great. And with this, my name is Viktor Gamov, and as always, have a nice day.
Yes, thank you so much, Victor, for being here with us. I want to thank the entire team Kong for giving us this opportunity to invite you. Do follow Victor, do follow Kong, tag us by your learning, share your experience, and that would be the perfect, I would say, the gift that we can give to the Kong team. That yeah, thank you from the entire team. Cheers with Gaurav. Thank you so much, Victor, for being here with us.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. And for all the viewers, as I said it in the beginning, I want to just repeat it once again. Just the disclaimer that while I work for Red Hat and I'm doing out of my personal passion, this is not an official channel of Red Hat or being endorsed by Red Hat. Whatever we have said is purely what we believe that community is our in DNA. And that's what we will keep on doing with you. We'll keep on bringing some exciting session for you all. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing, and hit that like button and smash that bell icon also so that you are notified whenever the next video of Cheers with Gaurav is up and live. I'll see you with another exciting video in upcoming days. And till then, all the winners, wait for your swags to deliver at your doorstep and keep tagging us, keep sharing your thoughts, keep learning, keep sharing and spreading the word. So I had a fun. I hope you had too. Stay safe, stay indoor.